now we are going to apply the second method to find out the HCF of following values, that is prime factorization method. Okay, so before starting the method you should know what is the prime factor. Okay, so what is the meaning of prime? This is also we have taken in our introduction value. This is also we have taken in our introduction video. Okay, but also I am revising it, that what is the prime number. Okay, so prime numbers are those number who is divisible by either 1 or value itself. You cannot divide it by any other value. For example, you can take the number 3. Okay, 3 is only divisible by 1 and value itself, that is 3. Can you divide 3 by any other value? No, we cannot divide 3 by 4, 5, 50, any other value. That is only divisible by either 1 or value itself, that is 3. Okay, so that is a prime number. If another example you can take 4. Okay, so 4 is divisible by 1, 4 is divisible by 4, and 4 is also divisible by 2. 2 2s are 4. So that is not a prime number. The number which is divisible by 1 value itself and other value, that will be not prime number, that you can say as a composite number. So prime numbers are those numbers which are divisible by either 1 or value itself. So here whatever values we have given, we have to show it as a prime factorization. Okay, so you have to show it as a prime factors. So first go through the question. Question is that find HCF of 6 and 20 by prime factorization method. Okay, so I have two values. The values are 6 and 20. Now as you can see here, we have shown the factorization method. I hope all of you know about the factorization method. If you don't know, then again we will revise over here. So I have two values, 6 and 20. So we need to find the factors of this value. Okay, so this method we are going to apply. Now what you have to do, you have to always start from 2. Okay, you always have to start from 2. If your value is divisible by 2, then you have to apply 2. If your value is not divisible by 2, then you will go to the 3. Okay, if it is divisible by 3, then you can apply 3. If it is not divisible by 3, then you have to go to 4, then 5, then 6, and then up to infinity. Okay, so first you have to always start from 2. Now 6 is divisible by 2 or not? Yes, 6 is coming in the table of 2, that is 2 3s are 6. So 6 will be divisible by 2. So here you can write 2 3s are 6. Okay, so this we are applying the factorization method, prime factorization method. 2 3s are 6. Okay, now 3. Can you divide 3 by 2? No, 3 is not coming in table of 2. So if you cannot apply 2, you have to go through the 3. Okay, so you can divide 3 by 3. As you know, 3 1s are 3. So here you can write 3 1s are 3. So what is the factors of 6 over here? 2 and 3. So here you can write that factors of 6 are 2 multiplied by 3. So this is the simple method. You have also learned this method in your 5 to 9 standard. Okay, you just have to start from 2. If it is divisible by 2, apply 2. Not, then go to the 3, then go to the 4, 5, and up to infinity. Okay, so here we have find out the prime factors of 6, but we also need to find the factors of 20. So we will find the factors of 20. Again we will start from 2. So can you divide 20 by 2? Yes, 2 10s are 20. So you can write it as 2 10s are 20. Okay, so again you have to see that whether 10 is divisible by 2 or not. Can you divide 10 by 2? Yes, 2 5s are 10. So you have to apply 2 5s are 10. Now can you divide again 5 by 2? No. we cannot divide 5 by 2. It is not coming in the table of 2. So you have to go on 3. So 3, that is also not possible. 4, that is also not possible. Then we'll go on 5. So can you divide 5 by 5? Yes, we can. So we have to take 5 ones are 5. Okay, this method you have to apply till you are not getting answer as a 1. Till you are not getting answer as a 1. Okay, so here factors of 20 we have 2, 2 and 5. Okay, so you can write it as 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 5. So these are factor of 6 and these are factor of 20. Okay, so here we need to find the HCF and here we also have found the LCM. So how we have written this HCF and LCM? So as you can see, 6 we have 2 multiplied by 3 and 20 we have 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 5. So how can you write the HCF and LCM? So this is also I have taken in our introduction video, then also small revision, that the HCF you have to go through the words. Okay, what is the full form of HCF? Highest common factor. What is it? Highest common factor. Okay, but we will go in reverse. We will go in reverse. So first you have to take out the factor. Factors we have already taken. That factors of 6 is 2 and 3 and factors of 20 are 2, 2 and 5. Now highest common factors. Factors we have taken. Now we will go on common. Which values are common among this? So here 2 is common. Another value, nothing is common over here, only 2 is common. So that means HCF of 6, 20 will be 2. Okay, but here the thing is that you have to take, if you are taking out the common value, here we are remaining with only one value, so that will be our HCF. But what if you have 2 or 3 values? So there you have to do, you have to take the highest value. Which value will you take? Highest value. As you can see, highest common factor. Factor we have taken out, then we'll take out the common and then we will take the highest value. If I am getting HCF over here 2 and 5, so which value is highest among this? That is 5. So that will be our HCF value. Okay, here only one value was there, so that is clearly our HCF. Okay, now the same thing is that LCM. So in LCM, this is also simple, you have to go through the word. So what is the full form of LCM? Least common multiple. Okay, that is least common multiple. So same thing if I want to apply over here. So multiple we have found over here. These are also multiple. Okay, so 6 is coming in table of 2, 6 is also coming in table of 3. Okay, so these are multiples of, also multiples of 6, and these are also multiples of 20. So multiples we have taken, they have, then you have to take the common values. Okay, so here common values are 2. Okay, but here the thing is that you have to take the common values, but you have to take the remaining, whatever remaining values are there. Okay, so here the remaining values are 3 is remaining, that is coming only one time. Again 2 is coming only one time. Again 5 is coming only one time. Here the difference is that in HCF we are only taking the common value, but directly if you want to find the LCM by prime factorization method, you are taking the common value, but the values which are coming only one time, that values you also have to include. As you can see, 2 is common among this, that we have taken, but this is coming only one time, so we have taken 3. Again this is coming only one time, so again we have taken 2. This is coming one time, so again we have taken, and you have to multiply this all of the values, so you will get 2 3s are 6, 6 2s are 12, and 12 5s are 60. This method when will you apply? When you have to apply the method of prime factorization. Okay, so this method will apply when we have to apply prime factorization method. So what you have to do in HCF, you have to find out the factors, then common, and then highest value. And in LCM, the common value will be there, multiples we have already found. Common value you have to take, and you have to take the values which are coming only one time, and then you have to multiply all of the values, and then you will get the answer. Okay, so now the next thing we have, that we have one formula. Okay, we have given a simple formula to find out the HCF of any value, multiply by LCM of any value. Okay, so how can you find that? Just go through the formula. So the formula is that HCF of AB. So what is AB? A and B can be any value which is given to us. Okay, so here we have HCF of AB multiply by LCM of AB, that is equal to A multiply by B. So what it wants to say, that whenever you are finding HCF of two value and LCM of two values, then multiplication of both of the LCM and HCF will be always equal to multiplication of given two values. Okay, so the formula is, whenever you are finding HCF and LCM of two values, then their multiplication will be always equal to multiplication of that two values. Okay, so this question will be asked as a, that find the HCF by using prime factorization method, and also apply the formula, also verify the formula that HCF of AB multiply by LCM of AB is equal to A multiply by B. So this can be asked in exam, that verify will be also there. So what you have to do, so here you have to only remember the simple formula, that HCF of AB multiply by LCM of AB, that will be equal to A multiply by B. Okay, so HCF of any two values multiply by LCM of any two values, that will be equal to multiplication of that two values. Okay, so before we have taken one question, that we have found the LCM and HCF, and the values were 6 and 20. Okay, so here you are getting HCF as a 2 and LCM as a 60. Okay, so that we will apply in our formula, that we have HCF of 6 comma 20, we have LCM of 6 comma 20. Now what are we doing over here? We are verifying this formula, that formula is applicable or not. Okay, so two things are there. This you can take as a LHS, and this you can take as a RHS. Now you may have the question, what is the meaning of LHS and RHS? So the meaning of LHS is left hand side, and the meaning of RHS is right hand side. Now this formula is on left hand side, so this will be our LHS, and this is our at right hand side, so this will be our RHS. So we are verifying whether this formula is applicable or not. So I have taken LHS, and LHS we have HCF of AB multiply by LCM of AB. We have taken the question that we have taken before, that their values are HCF of 6 comma 20 multiply by LCM of 6 comma 20. So the answer was 2. Okay, HCF of 6 comma 20 was 2 multiply by LCM of 6 comma 20 was 60. Now 2 multiply by 60 is 120. So this we got as a LHS. Now we want to verify whether is equal to RHS or not. So what is our RHS? RHS we have A multiply by B. Now our A and B values are 6 and 20. So if you are multiplying 6 multiply by 20, that you are getting as a 120. Now see, LHS is also 120 and RHS is also 120. That means you are getting LHS is equal to RHS. Okay, that means this formula is applicable. That means HCF of any two values multiply by LCM of any two values, that will be always equal to multiplication of that two values. So this is how you can verify. You can take LHS, you can take RHS, and then you can check whether LHS is equal to RHS or not. And whenever you are proving something, then you have to at last write that hence the proof, that we have proved the thing. Okay, so with this method is completed. Now we are going on another method, that is how to prove any irrational value as a irrational value. We know that that number is an irrational number, but you have to prove that by yourself. Okay, so how will you apply that? So here we have to apply the contradiction method. Okay, we are going to apply the contradiction method. So what is the meaning of contradiction? So contradiction is that we have to prove it as reverse, that they are saying that given number is an irrational number. So what we'll take? We'll take given number is rational number. Suppose given number is rational number, and at last we will prove it as a wrong. So then you will get the contradiction. So this is your contradiction method. You have to take it as a reverse, that given value is given irrational, but we will suppose that it is rational, and then we will prove it as a wrong. Okay, so this we will do by ourselves. So now first I have given the question is theorem. This is the theorem. Whenever you are proving something, that will be your theorem. So theorem we have that square root 2 is an irrational number. I want to prove this, so I am getting in contradiction method that I will take suppose root 2 is a rational number. We want to prove irrational, but we will take reverse, that suppose root 2 is a rational number. Okay, so now if any value is a rational number, so obviously you can write it as a P by Q form. Okay, because rational number consists of P by Q form. So if root 2 is an irrational number, so you can write it as a by B. You can also take P by Q. Okay, that is up to you. The letter you can take anything, A, B, P, Q, that is up to you. Okay, so here we are taking A by B, that if root 2 is a rational number, then square root 2 will be equal to A upon B. Now what we have done over here, A upon B, so you have taken D from division to multiplication. Okay, if you don't know about this, any value which is going another side of equal, if it is positive, it will be negative. If it is negative, it will be positive. If it is in multiplication, it will go to the division, and if it is in division, it will go to the multiplication. So remember that, then whenever any value going another side of equal, it will, if it is plus, it will be minus. If it is minus, it will be plus. If it is in multiplication, division. If it is in division, it will be in multiplication. Okay, so here I want to take B to another side of equal. Now it is in division, so it will go in the multiplication. So you will get root 2 multiplied by B, that is equal to A. Okay, so that we are getting over here. This you can give it as a equation number 1. Okay, now what we have done over here, that we have taken square on both of the side. Okay, you can take square on both of the side. So here we have taken square on both of the side. So square of root 2b and square of a. Okay, now here you can give square to both of them distinctly. So whenever you're giving square to root 2, then square and square root will cut, so you will only remaining with 2, and if you're giving square to b, you will get b square. Okay, so here we have given this square to both of the value distinctly. First 2 square root of 2 and then b. So here square and square root cut, so you will remaining with 2 and here b square, and that will be equal to a square. So that we have written over here that a square is equal to 2b square. Okay, so now here the condition that we have all of you know about this, that here if you are getting a upon b, okay, now this condition is necessary. You have to understand this thing, that whenever we are taking p by q and a by b, that both of the values should be co-prime numbers. That should be co-prime numbers. And if you want to go through the detail of this, you can go through the introduction video. So here the value of b should be not equal to 0 and a and b should be co-prime number. What is the meaning of co-prime number? That means that HCF of both of the values should be always equal to 1. Now here we'll go first through this thing, that why b should be not equal to 0. Now you can think that if you will take 0 in the denominator of any value, then what will be your answer? Suppose you have two values 1 and 0. Okay, so you have division 1 upon 0. Then what will be the answer of that fraction? Do you know that the answer of that fraction will be infinity? Why? Because you cannot divide any value by 0. You cannot divide any value by 0, so there you will get the answer as a infinity, and infinity is an undefined value. Okay, so here if you are taking b value as a 0, then you will get answer as a infinity, which you cannot define. So here b should not be 0. Okay, b should not be 0 at all. Then second thing is that HCF of AB is equal to 1, where a and b are co-prime number. Meaning of co-prime numbers are that there should be only 1 as a common value between that two value. There should be 1 as a common value between that two value. You can simply take, if you are taking value 3 and 5. Okay, if you are taking value 3 and 5, so if you are finding factors of 3, that will be 3 multiplied by 1, and factors of 5, that will be 5 multiplied by 1. So which value is coming common? That is only 1. That means 3 and 5 are co-prime number. So if you are taking any fraction, the condition will be that b is not equal to 0 and the HCF of that two values will be always 1. Okay, so here this is about this condition, that why we have written this condition. Okay, now we'll go on a next step. That's till now we are getting a square is equal to 2b square. Now you're getting a square is equal to 2b square. That means that 2 is a factor of a square. Obviously if you have a square is equal to 2b square, that means 2 is coming in the factor of a square. So 2 is a factor of a square. That is a simple thing. Now if 2 is a factor of a square, then 2 will be also factor of a. Okay, if 2 is a factor of a square, then 2 will be also factor of a. How? So for that I have that if you are taking 2 square, so what will you get? 2 square will be 2 2s are 4 and its factor is 2 multiplied by 2. Okay, so here if the factor of 4 is 2, then factor of 2 square will be also 2. Okay, now you can see that if the factor of 2 square is 2, then factor of 2 will be also 2. So wherever you have value of square is that factor, then its own value will be also its factor. So here you can say that 2 is a factor of a square, then 2 is also factor of a. Okay, so this is our thing. Now if 2 is a factor of a, so you can write it like this, that a is equal to 2k. Okay, where k is any integer, you can take k as any integer. If any value is factor of another value, so you can show it as this by taking any integers. So if 2 is a factor of a square, then 2 is also factor of a, so you can write it as a is equal to 2k. Why? Because 2 is a factor of a, so by taking any integer you can write this. Okay, again we are squaring on the both of the sides, so it will be a square, 2 square will be 2 2s are 4, and k square will be k square. Now give it as equation number 2. Now what you have to do over here, that we are going to put this value of a square in equation number, here you give 2 and here you give 3. So here we are going to put the value of a square in equation number 2. Okay, as you can see in 2 we have a square is equal to 2b square. So in next step, instead of a square, what we have put it over here, 4k square. Okay, you can put the value in another equation. So we have 2b square is equal to 4k square. Now this 2 will go from multiplication to division. So what will you get? 4 by 2. This 2 will go from multiplication to division, so you will get 4 by 2, and if you are dividing 4 by 2, then 2 2s are 4, so you will be remaining with b square is equal to 2k square. This 2 we have taken from multiplication to division, then 2 2s are 4, so remaining with 2k square. Now what is the meaning of this? That 2 is a factor of b square. Okay, if you are getting b square is equal to 2k square, that means 2 is a factor of b square, and as you have seen before that if 2 is a factor of a square, then 2 is also factor of a. Same as if 2 is a factor of b square, then 2 is also factor of b. That means 2 is factor of a and 2 is also factor of b. But what we have? We have that HCF of AB is equal to 1, but here we are getting HCF of AB is equal to 2. Why? Because 2 is factor of A and we also get 2 is a factor of B, but before we have proved that HCF of AB is 1, there is only one value that is common between them, but here we are getting 2, that means our supposition is wrong. What we have supposed, that root 2 is a rational number, but we are getting a supposition as a wrong, that means root 2 is an irrational number. Okay, so simply if we revise, that first we have supposed that root 2 is a rational number. If it is a rational number, then you can write it as root 2 is equal to a upon b. But what is the condition? That a and b should be co-prime number, so HCF of AB will be always 1. There will be 1 which is HCF of AB. Okay, so then we have applied the method. Then we have applied the method and we are getting that 2 is a factor of A, and again we are getting the 2 is a factor of B. So we are getting that HCF of AB is 2, but we already have that HCF of AB is 1. So that means our supposition is wrong. So that's why root 2 is an irrational number, and we have proved this thing, so you can write at last, hence the proof. Okay, now next the same question we have, but this will be easy from that. Now before we have taken root 2, okay, so you can put any value instead of that. You can have root 5, you can have root 7, you can have root 11. What you have to do, wherever 2 is there, you have to put 5, 7 or whatever value is there. The method will be same for that question, only value will be changed. Remember, method will be same, only value will be changed. Wherever you're getting 2, you have to put 3, 5 or whatever value is there. Okay, now this is the same question of that, but this is of another style, that now we have value as a 5 minus square root of 3. Now this is easy than that question. We have the question that prove that 5 minus square root of 3 is an irrational number. So again we are going to apply the contradiction method. So we will suppose it is rational number, and then we will prove it as a wrong. So first we are supposing that, suppose 5 minus square root of 3 is a rational number. Okay, so if it is a rational number, so you can write it is equal to a upon b. Okay, if any value is a rational number, you can show it as a upon b as a p by q form. Okay, so I can show it as 5 minus square root of 3 is equal to a upon b. Okay, now what we have done over here, that we have taken this a upon b to another side of equal. Okay, so this a upon b will go another side of equal. As you can see, it is plus right now, so it is going another side, then it will become minus. You will get, this is coming another side of equal, so you will get 5 minus a upon b, and this will also go another side of equal, so you will get, from minus it will be plus square root of 3. So here what you have to do, the simple trick is that take the irrational value to another side. Okay, and that should be alone over there. What we have done, that we have taken these values together and we have taken this irrational value to another side alone. Okay, this is the first step that you can apply. Now what you have to do, now you have to write only statement. Okay, so statement will be, now see, we have a upon b as a rational number. All of you know a upon b is a rational number. So if a upon b is a rational number, then 5 minus a upon b will be also rational number. Obviously a upon b rational, then if you are adding or subtracting from that, that will be also rational number. So you can write 5 minus a upon b is also rational number, but this whole is equal to square root of 3. So if it is rational number, then this will be also rational number. So if 5 minus a upon b is rational number and it is equal to square root of 3, then square root of 3 is also rational number. But here the thing is, before we have proved that root 2 is irrational number. So whatever value is there, root 2, root 5, root 7, this all values will be always irrational number. So we cannot get root 3 as a rational number, because root 3 is an irrational number. That means what? That our supposition is wrong. Okay, so here the simple thing is, take the square root value to another side and that should be alone over there. Now here a upon b is rational, then 5 minus a upon b will be also rational, and this is whole equal to this one, that means this is also rational number. But as we know that root 3, root 5, root 7, that are not rational number, that is an irrational number. That means our supposition is wrong. Okay, that means 5 minus square root of 3 is also an irrational number. Okay, so at last you can write that hence the proof. Okay, at last you can write hence the proof, because we have proved this thing. So we are done with this method. Okay, so next we will go on decimal expansion method. Next we are going on decimal expansion. Okay, so here we have written the statement, as you can see, that if x is equal to p by q, where q is a prime factorization of 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m, where m and n are positive integers, then decimal form of x will be terminating, and if it is not, then decimal form of x will be non-terminating. Okay, are you able to understand? Not, then we will able to understand in easy language. Okay, in a simple language, any value which is given in a p by q form, okay, any value which is given in a p by q form, wherever q is not equal to 0. Now you know why q is not equal to 0, because if it will be 0, then you will get answer as an infinity. Okay, so that q will be not equal to 0. Now wherever you're finding the prime factors of q, that should be in the form of 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m. Okay, if it is coming in the form of 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m, that means that value is terminating. And if it is not coming in the form of 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m, that means p by q, that value will be non-terminating. Now what is terminating and non-terminating, that detailed thing you can go on an introduction video. Okay, now if you have any value in p by q form where q is not equal to 0, now what you have to do, you have to find the factors of q, and if you are getting factors of q in the form of 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m, then that value will be terminating. That value will be terminating, and if you are not getting in this form, that means you are getting another value except 2 and 5 in the factors of q, then that will be your non-terminating value. Okay, this will be asked in your MCQ or long question, that whether following value is terminating or not. So what you have to do, you have to just find out the factors of the denominator. Remember, p by q, that q is a denominator, so you have to find out the factors of denominator q, and if it is in the form of 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m, if you are getting the factors as 2 or 5 or both, then it is terminating, and if you are not getting factor as a 2, 5 or both, then it will be non-terminating. So we will learn about it in detail. Okay, so next we have given here condition that we understood in before slide, that here q is what? In p by q, q is our denominator, p will be your numerator and q will be your denominator. Okay, where q is equal to z minus 0. So what it wants to say, that q should not be equal to 0. Okay, because if q will be equal to 0, then it will become an infinity. Okay, so that condition they have given, and they have given z, so that means q should be belongs to z. Now z is what? Z is our set of integer which contains negative, positive and 0. So q should be an integer and it should not be equal to 0. Okay, so that we have given. Now they have given two conditions, that if you are finding the factors of q, you have two conditions. First is whether it is terminating, and second we have that it is non-terminating repeating. It is non-terminating, but in that you have two conditions, non-terminating repeating and non-terminating non-repeating. Okay, but here we are taking non-terminating repeating. Okay, So here if it is terminating, then you will get remainder a as a 0. So a simple example, if you take, if I am dividing here, we have given the example that 2 divided by 5. So if I am dividing 2 by 5, so we cannot divide 2 by 5, so you have to take point. Now you can divide 5 4s are 20. So here what are you getting? You are getting remainder as a 0. That means it terminates, it ends at any value, it does not continue or it does not repeating, it just end at any value and you are getting remainder as a 0. So that will be your terminating value, and if it is terminating, it will be in the form of 2 raised to n 5 raised to m. Okay, so this is the simple thing, and we have given that factors of denominator should be 2 or 5 or both. Okay, it can be 2, 5 or both. Now second, we have non-terminating repeating. It is non-terminating but it repeats. So for that we also have the example. We have given 1 by 3. So if you are dividing 1 by 3, you cannot divide 1 by 3, so you have to take point, 0 point. Now 3 3s are 9, 1 remaining. Again 3 3s are 9, 1 remaining. Again 3 3s are 9. Now it does not terminate because you are not getting remainder as a 0, but also it is continue. Okay, as you can see that you are getting 3 as a continue. So this value you can say it as a non-terminating repeating because the value is repeating. Okay, I don't know till how many steps it repeating, but it is repeating. So here remainder cannot be 0, so you will not get remainder as a 0. So there will be factors of denominator should be any other prime factor except 2 and 5. So the factors of q will be not 2 and 5, it will be of another value, whether it is 4, whether it is 6, but it will be not 2 and 5. So this is the simple thing about decimal expansion. So simple is that if your denominator q, if your the factor of denominator q is the value 2 or 5 or both, then it is terminating, and if it is not 2 or 5 or both, it will be non-terminating. Okay, so now we are done with terminating and non-terminating, repeating. So we are going through the example that how to apply that method. Okay, so here we have the question that convert the following rational number into decimal form. Okay, so here the question will be that convert the following whatever value is there in decimal expansion, but they can also ask that check whether following number is terminating or non-terminating or non-repeating. So that can also ask in 1 mark, so you have to also remember that. Okay, so here we have question that we have to convert this value in an decimal form. So the value we have 17 upon 3125. So our first condition that q is not equal to 0 is satisfying. Okay, so first what you have to do, we have to first find the factors of 3, 1, 2, 5. That is our denominator. This is our denominator. So remember that thing, you only have to find the factors of your denominator. That is 3, 1, 2, 5. So if you are finding the factors of 3, 1, 2, 5, so you will get okay, if you are finding the factor of 3, 1, 2, 5, so if you are starting with 2, it will be not divisible by 2. Then you will go on 3, then you will go on 4, but it will be directly divisible by 5. So here I am getting 5, 6, 25 is 3, 1, 2, 5. 5 125 are 625, 5 25 are 125, 5 5 are 25 and 5 1s are 5. So here we are getting factors of 3 1 2 5 as a 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5. So how many powers of 5 are there? 5. 5 is coming 5 times. As you can see, 1 2 3 4 5. So you can write it as 5 raised to 5 because 5 is coming 5 times. So its power will be 5. Okay, so this is the factor of denominator. Now as you know that our factor of denominator should be 2, 5 or both. So now as you can see, we are getting the factor of denominator of 5. That means our condition is satisfying. That means this number is terminating number. So here we have written the factor of q is 2 or 5. That means 17 upon 3125 is terminating. Okay, now this we have checked whether it is terminating or not. But what our question is that whether following rational but what we have to check, that what we have to find, convert following rational number into decimal expansion. So we have to find the decimal expansion. Now what you have to do over here, first you have to write your value. So your value is 17 upon 3125. Okay, so first you have to, your numerator will be as it is. Your numerator will be as it is. Now in denominator, what you have to do, that what is the factor of 3125? You're getting it as a 5 raised to 5. Now as you can see, your form is 2 raised to n, 5 raised to m. I am getting the factor of 5 but I am not getting the factor of 2. So there what you can do, you can write 2 raised to 0. What you can do, 2 raised to 0. Suppose I would have got the factor as a 2 raised to 5. So I don't have factor of 5. So what you can write, 5 raised to 0. Okay, it will, and whatever your value is there, if it is and whatever value is there, if its power is 0, then it will be always equal to 1. Any value having power 0 will be always equal to 1. So here 2 raised to 0 will be 1 and 5 raised to 0 will be also equal to 1. So it will does not affect our value. So here I have 3125 as a 5 raised to 5. But I don't have factor of 2, so I have written 2 raised to 0. Now what you have to do, you don't have factor of 2. Now you have to same the power of 5 and 2. Here I have power of 5 as a 5, but I don't have power of 2 as a 5. So in that case you can multiply and divide by that power. Okay, for example, if I would have that 17 upon 3125. For example, if I am getting it as a 2 raised to 5, okay, in denominator, but I also want 5 as a power 5. So what you have to do, you have to multiply and divide. Why we are multiplying and dividing? Because we have to make the balance. Okay, you cannot only multiply and you cannot only divide. You have to multiply and divide both. Okay, so here I have 5 raised to 5, but I don't have 2 raised to 5. So I have done that, I have multiplied 2 raised to 5 and I have divided by 2 raised to 5. Okay, so now you can take this as a common, that 5 raised to 5 and 2 raised to 5 both are having power as a 5. So you can write it as in bracket 5 multiplied by 2 raised to 5. You can write the power as a common, and here what we have done, that we have written 2 raised to 5 as a 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. So you will get 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16 and 16 2s are 32. So here 17 as it is multiplied by 2 raised to 5 will be 32, and here 5 is also having power 5 and 2 is also having power 5. So you can write it as common, that 5 multiplied by 2 raised to 5. So here 17 multiplied by 32 will be 544, and 5 2s are 10. The thing is that in your denominator value should be come as a 10. 10 should be there because we want to convert it into decimal expansion, and when you can convert when 10 is there. Okay, so you have to balance the power. If 2 raised to 3 is there, then you have to multiply by 5 raised to 3 and divide by 5 raised to 3. So you have to balance the power of 2 and 5. Then it will make 2 and 2 5s are 10. Okay, so here we are getting 10 raised to 5. Now you can convert it into decimal. How many power are there? 5 power is there, but I have only 3 values, but I want 5 values after point, so you can take 0. So here 1 2 3 4 5, here you can apply the point and it will be 0. Okay, how many zeros are there? 5 0. I want to convert it into decimal, but I have only 3 values, so if values are not there, so you can put 0. But remember one thing, 0 you have to write before the value, not after the value. 0 you have to write before the value, so you cannot write after 5 4 4, that you cannot write. You have to write it before the value. So I have written 3 values were there, but I need 2 more values, so that I have taken 0 0, then point will be there and then 0. Suppose I have 3 2 7 5 divided by I have 4 5 0. Okay, so 5 0 are there. I want to convert it into decimal, but I have only 4 values, so I have to put 0 over here, so that will become 0.03275. so this is how you can convert your value in decimal value. Okay, and this is how first you have to find that whether the value is terminating or non-terminating, and then you can go on the decimal expansion. And remember one thing, you can only find the decimal expansion if your value is terminating. If your value is non-terminating, then you cannot convert it into decimal expansion. You can only convert the value in decimal expansion if it is terminating. Okay, so we are done with the example. So now at last we make ask the question, this kind of question, that find the HCF and LCM of given values. Now method is not given, so either you can apply Euclid's division algorithm or you can apply prime factorization method. So here I have applied prime factorization method. How many values are there? 3 values I have, 15, 21 and 35. So first we have found the factor of 15. So 15 is not divisible by 2, so we have to go on 3. So it is divisible by 3, so 3 5s are 15, and then you can write 5 1s are 5. So factor of 15 is 3 multiplied by 5. Now we have to find factors of 21. It is not divisible by 2, so I am going on 3. 3 7s are 21. Now 7 is not divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will be directly divisible by 7, so you can write 7 1s are 7. Okay, so the factor of 21 is 3 multiplied by 7. At last we have to find the factors of 35. Okay, so 35 is not divisible by 2, 3, 4. Directly it will be divisible by 5, so you can write 5 7s are, and 7 will be directly by 7 1s are. So you will get factors of 35 as 5 multiplied by 7. So we have found the factors of all of the 3 values. Okay, now we will find the LCM and then we will find the HCF. Okay, so LCM, how can we find that factors we have found? Now we have to take out the common value. So which value is common among this value? So no value is coming common among three values. Now remember one thing, that you have to see in three value. You don't need to see in two values, you have to see in three values. So the value should be coming common in three of the value. If any value is not common in three of the value, then in that case we will write the value which is coming distinctly. Okay, now we are done with the example of decimal expansion. So today we have covered the LCM, HCF by prime factorization method, by Euclid's division algorithm. Also we have covered decimal expansion, how to prove the irrational number. Okay, so I hope all of you have understood this all things. Okay, next thing we will take in next video. Thank you to all of you.